Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and I am coming at y'all with another video. And this is about the second part of the three-part docu-series on surviving R. Kelly. Y'all, I'm so tired. Oh, Lord, y'all. First of all, before I forget, y'all, for the ones of y'all who have seen it, I want y'all to put down in the comment section who y'all think is the one who is shielding their identity. Now, as of right now, only two people come to mind, even though there are a slew of other people. But these particular two people are the only ones coming to mind. And one other person that gets basically like an honorable mention as far as that's concerned, but I'm thinking it's K. Michelle or Barry, who is Aaliyah's uncle. And he also, at one point in time, was R. Kelly's manager. Now, the person who gets honorable mention is Selena Johnson, but I kind of don't think it's her. But yeah, if you had to guess, the identity of the person who was hiding. That's what I want to say, hiding. The person who we couldn't see because they, chopped and screwed their voice up and they had them, looking like they're in the shadows and all that stuff. Who would you guess it is, y'all? So, oh Lord, y'all, where do I begin? Y'all, like I said the other day, I don't care what nobody say. Sparkle is definitely canceled. From what I gather and what I could have swore I'd known anyway, she's been around like forever as far as when he first came on the scene and, really became this entertainer that we all know of. Because I'm not even going to say love and all that stuff. Anyway, y'all. But anyway, she's canceled. I don't care. I'm sorry. You sat up here and you told us that you saw how he was with his wife. And I don't remember if this was the second part or the third part, because part 3 and 4 came on, last night? But she sat up there and was watching a Chicago Bulls game with him at his house, and his wife was knocking at the door, and she was like looking at him like, Robert, you hear that? It sounded like somebody knocking. And he didn't flinch the whole time. And so he looked back and was like, yeah. And turns out it was Andrea Kelly. And she was asking him if she can have something to eat. And I'm just like, come on now. And I hate that, she kept saying that it couldn't have been her, where all these people were being controlled by him. And he straight up told them that nobody could talk to one another, and it was just ridiculous. And y'all, I just can't. So what else I want to talk about? Because I was just so tired, y'all. Okay. Oh, also with Sparkle, a lot of this might end up just being mainly about Sparkle's cousin and her family, because everything about it just is too much. So once I started realizing what all the dates were for all these situations that happened, the situations meaning when he went to trial and how long it lasted and the years that it went on for, y'all, it was just too much. So I always wondered, like, okay, why did he get acquitted if he did all this stuff and all these counts were against him? Every time you looked up, apparently everything was getting thrown out, because the initial time that we first heard of all this stuff happening, when they, issued a warrant for his arrest, I think it was 21 counts of child pornography was what they were trying to charge him with, because they said that that was equal to the same kind of punishment that you would get if you were put on trial, or you go to trial, I guess, for child molestation. So I'm just like, okay, he got acquitted of that because, and I think that is stupid. They said that he got acquitted of that because they weren't able to actually identify when the dates, they had no actual dates because there was no timestamp on the tapes that he did when he was with all these people. And then, like, y'all, one of the things that disturbed me as far as that was concerned was there was one of the jurors, and he sat up here and came on this docu-series, and he said, well, I saw the way that the girls were dressing, and he was like, you can tell he's from somewhere else, not even from anywhere near the United States of America. And so he's one of the jurors, and he said something about how he didn't like how the women were dressing and all this other stuff. And he said he just didn't believe what they said, and so he just dismissed what they said and just ignored everything that they said. And y'all, it's just the way that he said everything. I was just like, are you somebody who is all for this type of behavior? Because y'all had to sit up there and watch that infamous sex tape where he sat up there and peed in Sparkle's cousin's mouth. Look, that was too much, and I'm tired. And her family sat up there and denied it. The cousin denied that it was her in the tape. R. Kelly denied that he was the one in the tape. And it's just like, all this stuff is going on, but nobody has any regard for the real livelihood of a child, a minor. You know what I'm saying? She might not have been an actual baby, but she was a minor. And I'm just like, okay, what's the real motive behind everybody finding out about this, all this stuff? Y'all know he's going to trial. All this stuff is about to go down. Y'all have him. You have everything in the palm of your hands as far as information that you could testify. You could have put this man away. He would have never been able to come out with this trapped in the closet mess and all this other stuff that he was able to come out with. And he ended up, you know, blowing up even more behind that and all this other stuff. But y'all sat up there and was like, oh, that wasn't my child. Oh, that wasn't me in that tape. Oh, y'all, that wasn't me. Then R. Kelly, he's so dirty. He sat up there and threw his younger brother, Carrie, under the bus and said, oh, I think that was Carrie in that video. You sitting up here making all these videos all the time, but you want to sit up here and say that it was your brother. And apparently, like, everybody would have believed it, and his camp and or lawyers or whoever else probably suggested to him to do this because he was a stunt double or something in one of his videos. What was that video? What is it? I forgot. I was trying to think of how the words go. I'm thinking of the lyrics, but I can't get the words. I have the music in my head, but I can't think of the actual lyrics at the moment. But anyway, apparently he was a stunt double for him. But I'm sorry, Carrie don't look nothing like him at all. He just don't. They might be like the same skin tone, but they literally don't look alike at all. And y'all, of course, I was like, well, hopefully Bruce is not going to be in it. And Bruce is the older brother who's raggedy and he looks like a child molester and stalker and everything else in between. Who I found out he has been to jail several times. And the latest time, which is now, he's currently serving 2 to 4 years or something like that for some kind of robbery. I think it was armed robbery or something like that. But he stayed in jail doing the most. Harassing people, doing all kinds of stuff. So, of course, he's sitting up here condoning everything he does. And like I said before, he is a big part of the problem that is R. Kelly. So, but yeah, y'all, I'm tired. And I don't understand why there were so many people in his camp who I know for a fact you had to have seen all this stuff he was doing because y'all were pawns in the scheme too. Y'all were pawns as well because he would sit up here, had old dudes sitting up here forging paperwork. Keep in mind, every single person, a lot of these people were of age. Like the dude who forged the paperwork in order to get Aaliyah and him married, he was fully grown. And I'm just like, come on now. Come on now. Like you know you're wrong. And There were other people behind the scenes, and like he already has admitted, he can barely read, he can barely write, and so all of these intricate details were always done and carried out just the way he wanted. But y'all want to sit up here and try to make it seem like he's just this monster and all this other stuff. Granted, he is a monster, but I'm sorry, everybody who ever had a hand in helping him, all of them deserve to have all kinds of dysfunction in their life. And they probably don't sleep well at night knowing that they aided in so many terrible memories that these children have had to experience. Now, in me saying that, I'm not fully excusing the behaviors of these girls, because even though these girls were underaged, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Maybe it's because the way I was brought up. When I went to school, I had to go to school, I had to do my work, I had to get on the bus and come home. That was all. I had to come home, do my schoolwork, do all that. Granted, I'm not a singer, I'm not any type of entertainer, I wasn't a child star, any of that, and I understand that. But at the same time, let me use this person as an example, and hopefully I'm correct on this. Bow Wow. When he was a child, and he was a rapper doing all this stuff as a child, and I grew up listening to him, his mother was every single place he was at. She literally was there. Everywhere he was, she was there. So when he sits up there and he says that Jermaine Dupri is like a father to him because he was around him all the time and all this other stuff, and they stayed in the studio all the time, his mother was there. So, I mean, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I have been able to gather, every time I saw him, I could have swore I saw her. So whether that's the case or not, the fact remains, what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to be in a situation like this and you know your child is talented and you want them to be able to make it and you know that that's what their dream is and you feel like that is what they're calling it is, why wouldn't you yourself or somebody who is a trusted adult be assigned to them and be there to just do what you need to do and chaperone them? Like, that's what I'm saying. I understand people have jobs and all this other stuff, but y'all need to do something, because this don't make no sense. Like, I don't understand. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep going back and forth to Sparkle, because like I said the other day, Sparkle, I'm sorry, I can't deal with none of the excuses that you've tried to give, because you were around him all this time. You knew how he got down. So you cannot even try to convince me that you thought it was a good idea for you to have your cousin to come up in there with you and think that he was not going to ever, look her way. Even if that was all he was going to do, you can't even tell me that you was like, okay, he know that's my cousin, he ain't going to look her way. And then she pop up on her own and telling you, oh, I'm going to go to this Christmas party, and he said there's going to be other kids there around my age, and she just going to be there at his house when neither of her parents have signed off on it, to my knowledge. And if they did, they trash. And they're trash anyway because they want to cover up the situation. So it's like, but then this is my thing, y'all. Another thing, speaking of cover-ups, every time you look up, R. Kelly would do something, knowing he was wrong. Like I said the other day, why are you sitting up here screwing everybody, getting everybody pregnant, then you want to give them an abortion, then you want to try to pay them off with $100 here, a couple of $1,000 there. And then I guess with Aaliyah's situation, because she actually was out there, and people really knew her, he was dumb enough to sign over his publishing rights and all that other stuff. Along with, allowing the annulment to be what it was, as long as the agreement stayed between them and that they said, okay, we're not going to bring up nothing, we ain't going to speak on this, and all this other stuff. But like I said the other day, Aaliyah's mama was trash, is trash. Her dad is deceased, and I ain't never really heard of him saying anything, but I don't know. But her mama is trash. She's sitting up here still trying to, act as if she don't know that she's a part of the problem. So ain't nobody got time. Y'all, I can't. I ignored Sparkle's tears. You know, don't sit up here and tell us, how dare you? How dare you? I was just like, I really did sit there at the screen looking at her like this. Because I was just like, come on. Like, stop. Like, you already knew how he was, though. But you're going to try to sit up here and act shocked and appalled that he's doing this to your little cousin that you brought around. You brought her into this situation. But now you're trying to act like, oh no, how dare you do this to my family? I can't believe you did this to my family. And then, like, apparently she said that this is one of the parts that disturbs me about Sparkle. It seems like, unless I got it wrong, y'all, she sat up there and was like, hey, after she saw the tape circulating and saw that particular one where he was peeing in his cousin's mouth, that's when he decided to be like, oh, well, let me tell her parents. So she ended up telling the brother. And I'm just like, okay. And then she wants to make us believe that she basically sacrificed her career because of all the stuff that was going on. And R. Kelly was going to pay her off to not say anything. And she was just like, I'll just bow out of the spotlight instead of dealing with all of this. And I'm just like, I don't really care what she got to say, because after everything that happened, when he really was actually trying to act as if he was trying to have her as his protege, nothing really, was going to go in her favor, because he sat up there and he dictated how every single moving part of the actual video went for, what is it called? Be Careful, or whatever it's called. And he sat up there, jumped on the track, and it was supposed to be a song that debuted her. It's supposed to be her alone. And he sat up there and got on there. And if you were to ask everybody thought he was the one who stole the show, because we probably actually wouldn't have even cared that she was even on there had he not appeared, to be honest. On that track, we probably wouldn't have cared. So, yes, she can sing, but she ain't never been nobody that's been on my long list of people where I'm like, yes, I gotta have me some Sparkle in my music profile. I gotta have all of that. Like, I don't ever think about her like that. So I don't know when I'm gonna get off of Sparkle, but I can't do it, y'all. I was so tired. Y'all, I am really, really through. Now, again, for the people who saw it, y'all saw that girl who showed up. What's her name? Taronda, or whatever her name was. She sat up there and was going to the trial, and they had this. I think this is so stupid to me. With everything that he was being accused of, y'all had this be an open type of situation where anybody could come and witness the trial going down. This girl showed up all the time, and he would sit up there, have his eye on her, and be like, oh, thank you for your support and all this other stuff. And he eventually got to the point where he did like he always does, and he ended up having somebody to send a message to her and be like, yeah, Robert want to see you and all this other stuff. And she ended up dealing with him. And I'm just like, and every single person who he ended up with, they all thought they were special. They all thought that he was here for them, but he wasn't. He'll sit up there. He had this big old house, multiple rooms, to the point of where there were women, well, really girls, coming in carloads that were in separate rooms waiting on him. And if he wanted to, he would bring some in another room and have threesomes, orgies, and whatever else with them. And I'm just like, why? Like, what is really going on that you are interested in little girls? Like, I don't understand why people have this fascination with children. I've never understood it, and I never will. It is disgusting. I don't look at a little boy and I say, ooh, he fine. Ooh, he just so fine. Ooh. Like, I ain't never, like, it's like, what are you looking at? Like, what do you even see? So he would sit up there and do all this stuff. She lost her virginity to him. And she was just like, when she first went to his house, she described when he told her, like, before she even got there, you need to bring a bathing suit. She brought a bathing suit, and then she was waiting on him. And he ended up coming and sitting down next to her, and he was like, I want you to get up and walk for me. So basically he wanted her to model and, walk like she was walking on a runway. Ended up walking, and then he was like, well, next time when you do it, I need you to take off a piece of the bathing suit. And so she was like, you want me to take off a piece of my bathing suit? So he was like, yeah. She took off her top while she was walking, and then he was like, yeah, so you can take off the bottom now. He ended up performing oral on her, and she performed oral on him, and she said that her first sexual experience with him, where she, actually would lose her virginity, meaning cherry was popped, was where he had her bent over a sofa, and she said that she told him that it was hurting and uncomfortable. But basically every time she explained the situation, she was like, it was R. Kelly, so, I just went with the flow. It was just him. So, I did what he told me to do. And before she even started, like, basically living with him, he laid out the rules to her over the phone and was like, from here on out, you got to call me daddy. And that was his running thing with everybody. Told everybody that they had to call him daddy from now on. Told them that if somebody come in the room, they got to either look through the people or look at the wall or look down and all this other stuff. You can't talk to them. You can't look at them. You can't do nothing. And I can't use the bathroom. I can't be on my phone and talk to my friends. I can't do nothing unless you tell me I can do it. Like, you my daddy. Like, come on now. Yeah, he was old enough to be their daddy in a lot of those cases, because he had got to the point where he was 30-something and these people was under the age of 17 and he was screwing them. So it's like, sir, you doing the absolute most in your life. So it's like, you get to a point where the select people who are on here, even including the wife at times, you kind of question them and you're like, okay, you're saying all these things. You see the monster that he is. At what point do you say, I've had enough? And even before then, you see the signs and he's doing all this crazy stuff. It's like, why won't your mind click and say, okay, this is not normal. This grown man is over here trying to holler at me, trying to deal with me, want to be with me, and I'm gonna sit up here and allow it because he's R. Kelly. And what I'm saying, let's not be naive. Just go ahead and admit it. Every single person who got on this screen and said something about him, whether they were underage or not, every single last one of them knew what his status was, and they wanted something that he was supposed to be the one who was going to be able to provide it because of his status. So let's not sit up here and act like they weren't going to get something out of the deal, because that's what it was. Everybody was going to get something out of the deal. And it's sad that that's what it was. But his benefit was going to be him being able to do whatever he wanted to do with these people, screw them, control them, all that. And it's just a sad situation. And like I said before, R. Kelly's older brother is trash. And I hope that I hope they find other reasons to keep him in, because he seems to just go in and out of jail. So it's like, no, I can't do it. Like, he's beyond trash. I can't do it. So again, back to Sparkle. Sparkle was saying that, at one point in time during this whole part, she was saying that, and I was waiting. I was saying the whole time. Then she eventually said it. So I was like, okay, but I kind of don't believe you. She said she is not sure if her family got a payout. And that's why, when the trial happened, he ended up getting acquitted and all this other stuff. It was ridiculous. It's like, if all this went down, you are supposed to come to the aid of this child early on. And I feel like R. Kelly got to them and paid them off and paid them well. That's what I feel. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, because I wasn't there. But at the same time, any other time something happened, he conveniently paid people off and they went away and they stopped talking. And it's just like, money makes the world go around. Money does rule everything around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. And it's just so disheartening that he really could have been put away. He's one of those people that earlier on in his career, he could have been put away. But even while he was in the middle of being a criminal in this investigation that was ongoing, that kept on having him on trial, he still was sitting up here he was still touring, he still had events he was going to and getting paid for. He was still making music, still making videos, still every single thing that he was doing before all this came out about him, he was still doing it. But he would just show up to court so he wouldn't be in contempt of court. That was the only added thing that was happening. So I just feel like this was all ridiculous and everybody is at fault. And like I said, I don't understand how all these children were able to just go freely about their business and just be places that they shouldn't have been, and they didn't have a responsible adult present. And it's just ridiculous. I don't understand that stuff. My parents never played that. You go to school, you come home, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? I got to play outside. I watched TV. I did all kinds of things. Even though a lot of people might say my life was boring, that's fine. I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm not even going to sit up here and try to lie. With my own situation when I got raped that second time when I was in college, in all honesty, had I, obeyed my parents, even though I was grown, even though I was grown, I should have listened to my parents and not done anything outside of just going to school and just hanging out with my friends, my real friends and all that stuff, doing the things I should have been doing instead of sneaking around, doing little stuff I ain't had no business doing, even though that person was dead wrong to rape me. So y'all, I ain't here for it. I'm tired. The last installment come on tonight and I don't know what else they can say because he's still out here. And like I said, I don't remember if I said it. Did y'all see the beginning of like the first installment where somebody was recording him and he was basically like, well, all this stuff happened 30 years ago. They should have said something then. They had a problem with, like, the way he said it. He was just like, to me, it just came off like, I'm guilty. I did it. And it's happened 30 years ago. But now y'all want to come out of somewhere and say somebody now, oh, well, should have said something back then. It's too late now. I was just like, oh, my gosh. Like, you just don't care. Y'all, I can't do it. Like, I really can't. I probably left a whole lot of stuff out, but Sparkle and that whole situation was just too much. And that's really the main thing I wanted to focus on. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about that docuseries and if y'all have been watching it and if you plan on watching the last installment, which I think comes on tonight. Anyway, y'all have a good weekend and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye. Y'all, so I'm sorry. I knew I was going to forget. I just want to know, like, did y'all see the original video and or when they actually put the clip in there when Touré ended up interviewing him? And Touré simply asked him, do you date teenage girls? And so R. Kelly was like, now when you say teenage girls, what age we talking? I was like, y'all, I was tired then and I'm tired now because I saw it. I forgot about it. I forgot, but I didn't forget. And I was just like, I remember when he said that. Like, he really was like dead serious when he asked that. And Touré was looking like, and he had to like, it's like he was reacting the way we were reacting to the question. But then he had to snap out of it and get into, work mode and try to kind of rephrase the question. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, you could see the expression on his face and everything, y'all. Like, did y'all peep that? Like, I was just, y'all, I can't with R. Kelly. He had to go. Like, he been canceled, and I'm sorry. Like, I try to, ignore his songs and stuff. I don't really listen to all that stuff no more. I definitely don't have it on any of my playlists, but yeah. Y'all, I just want to know if y'all peeped that. But anyway, again, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.